I sent a note to Steve. Okay, calling the meeting to order at 7:34. Any oral communications for anything not on the agenda? Can somebody say something just so I could see if my headphones work better?
I'm saying something right now. Can you hear me?
Not better.
I can.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
testing, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay, no oral communications. Approval of minutes, June 24th.
Motion to approve?
Approve. I mean, motion to approve.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, new business. For those of you who will maybe have not been made aware, but we received a rather sobering message from Mike Chang just about 30 minutes ago. He unfortunately has to step away from the committee for some very, very serious medical reasons. And rightly so, he needs to prioritize those. And we certainly will be there for him for anything that he needs for us to. Obviously, that puts us in a little bit of a pickle, so we can talk about that as we go through the meeting. So, that's all I want to say. I don't want to betray his confidence anymore.
Yep.
Okay. In terms of other new business, now I know this was on our items to be tabled, but I'm going to add it here for reasons which will become obvious. I got a call from Mark Lindner, who's our interim town manager, middle of last week. And in the past month, I would say, there has been 3 related instances at the town center regarding dogs off leash. I don't think anybody is too surprised. I certainly was not. Anyway, he and I exchanged a couple of emails. I have brought him up to speed on what we have been trying to do for the last many, many, many years. He wanted to be on the call tonight, but fortunately he's got town guests. He did mention that Robert would be here. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate it. And he said that he and Robert have had multiple conversations about this as well. So Mark wanted me to bring it up tonight to, in a sense, make us aware. Number 2, bring it to the forefront in terms of, we kind of talked about, there's a longer issue, but there's also, in his mind, a fairly immediate issue, which he would appreciate our thoughts about, since we've been so involved in this, in that if we had any suggestions about what could be done on a rather immediate short-term basis that we thought might alleviate any potential the issues that are coming up.
Rita.
I'm sorry, who said that?
I think Lindsay might have been talking to Rita.
Right, I'm just calling Rita to help me.
Yeah.
But you don't have any sound?
Okay, sorry, I can't mute people. Okay.
Very short.
So with that said, Robert, did you want to add any
Hearing it.
color to that?
Oh,
Well,
hold
I
on.
I think that's pretty much the gist of it overall. I think what's being asked is more or less for us to brainstorm, and particularly for the committee to brainstorm and come up with some potential ideas and thoughts for potential suggestions.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Patty.
So I mean, we could just brainstorm and I don't know if there's any other suggestions about how anybody in the committee wants to go about it. Certainly some of the things that
What is
I
it?
thought, Dave, go ahead.
Is it documented in the minutes of the meeting where we decided to table it? Why what our status was?
You know, I'm not sure if you were at the meeting or not, Dave, when I put together the chart, which I'd be happy to bring up again to kind of bring everybody up to speed, that looked at the various areas, potential areas in Portola Valley. And there was so it got to the point where we couldn't find an area. We reviewed all of them that didn't have some issue with it. And one of the areas is over by the tennis courts. There's that big area in between the path and the road, you know, past right field over there. There's quite a lot of space. And we actually got conservation to agree that we could put up a fence there because it wouldn't impact wildlife crossing, which is their biggest concern. But then the equestrian community spoke very vehemently against it, and that it would spook horses on the path, even if it were a fenced area nearby there. And so we just, at that point, I got to the point where, but I'm happy to pull that up again. I wanted to say one thing. Because I see those people, and what's happened is they've started meeting over on the library lawn at the town center because there's softball games going on the field. This is in the evening. I can't speak for the morning group, but they're there on the baseball field to my that's my understanding. But there's not a lot of people around. And I think the issue with the library lawn is that there are a lot of people around. And one of the reasons they moved there is because the schools are doing the fence construction. And so there wasn't an area that they felt was suitable, or I think Ormondale was locked. That said, I saw that the Corte Madera fence is up now. So I'm just throwing this out because as we know, it is illegal to have your dogs off leash because Portola Valley, that's a San Mateo County ordinance, and Portola Valley could carve out an ordinance for itself. But if the schools are more available when children are not present, that might alleviate some of the issue of them being around people. I don't know one was, Patty, can you describe the incidents? One was a dog on dog incident, correct?
One was a dog on dog. One was a dog. A child was intimidated / frightened by an aggressive dog, and was a dog nipped a staff member.
Yeah. So, and do you happen to know, were those all at the library lawn area?
They were in the town, at the
Town center somewhere.
was all I was told.
Yeah. Because that group used to be over at the schools, and then there was a problem because of the construction going on.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, to answer your question, David, sorry, I did bring, Mark up to speed on what our committee has done.
Okay.
And where we were. Um, so he's aware of that. His comment was, obviously we can't do anything long-term, but is there anything we could think of short-term? To your point, Karen, maybe it is that the schools open up, although,
There's,
I don't want to use that as a long-term solution because I don't think that's the right long-term solution. But, is there such a thing as like temporary fencing, or we talked about, appointing monitors, or limited hours, or, I'm just throwing some of the things Mark and I kind of brainstormed about that we could, potentially do from more of an immediate standpoint, other than, erecting an official fence and everything. Dave, I see your hand. Hold on. Committee up first, right?
Oh, yeah, the other alternative, I mean, I'm happy to pull the sheet up, is the other alternative when you, Patty, when you mentioned temporary, is we talked about, and I know the soccer fields are off limits right now, but the Rosati's field is not being used, and that could be something in the mornings, but not,
See, I don't
which
think
doesn't
morning
really
soccer
solve the
field-
issue because they go to the baseball
I
field.
think it's afternoon. That's the
Okay.
problem.
Okay,
And I think part of the issue with that library area is, number one, it's small, so everybody's condensed right there. And there's a lot of small that come there now. That's where they're brought, for play dates and et cetera, et cetera. So it kind of exacerbates the fact that there's a lot of, women, men, children, dogs in a very small space.
and I know I've thrown this idea out, which is to fence off that library lawn, but have it be temporary, and then it can be, removed for the 4 days that we have the concerts.
I mean, that's certainly something I think that limits, what our road residents can do with the lawn.
But they have the whole picnic area over by the playground.
Yeah, they do, but and then, monitoring poop pickup, and I mean, we'd have to flesh out the ideas. But okay, let's just brainstorm. Let's not try and solve. So temporary fencing of what I would say a smaller space, for lack of a better word, like the library lawn, or even, maybe over by where we had originally proposed.
Yeah.
The courts.
Do you want me to pull up that sheet as a reminder for everybody? Or,
It depends how much time it's gonna
okay,
take, Karen, because we've got a lot to get through tonight.
Yeah.
So
okay,
I really want to bound this
Hmm.
time, like in the next 5 to 10 minutes. So let's just throw out ideas. So temporary fencing, I threw out the idea of, having the dog community, some kind of hallmarkers, for lack of a better word, if they're organizers, limited hours. We talked about, I've talked to Mark till I'm blue in the face about it's all about enforcement, you know.
when you, I'm sorry, when you talk limited hours, where were you thinking?
Like only say 4 to 5, you know.
But at a particular area?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So library lawn only from 4 to 5. even without temporary fencing. Or something like, you know, again, I'm just brainstorming.
Yeah.
Other ideas on the committee? Dave Cardinal, go ahead.
Thanks. Yeah, to your point about enforcement, I think it's two different issues, and one is enforcement. And frankly, unless and until we ticket people who let their dogs run loose, nothing's going to change roughly. And in particular, you know, dog waste is toxic waste. It's harmful. It's dangerous. And if you're letting your dog run loose on a field where kids play, it's a safety issue. It's a health issue. So I would personally, I think that has to be cut down on first. And if we do that, then suddenly all the dog owners will be interested in finding a place where they can take their dogs, which they have not been so far from what you've all said, because they don't care. They can just let them run loose on the field. So I honestly, I don't see like, oh, they could run loose a little area here or there. It's just not right unless it's a fenced in separate area. And unless we ticket them, I don't think we could give them 4 to 5 on the library lawn, but why would they ever do that if we're not penalizing them for what they do? So I'm kind of hardcore on that. So that's my thought.
Okay, thank you. David?
Yeah, I agree. Like, even if we had a, even if we had like a perfectly manicured green lawn for them that's not at town center, they wouldn't go there because town center is what they do. So they're not gonna, and then we're not gonna be able to give that them. So we're gonna give them a dirt patch somewhere, even if it's pretty convenient. They're not gonna go there until, like David Cardinal was saying, till we start handing out tickets and force the issue. But that I didn't want to comment then because we were trying to brainstorm and everything. But just realistically, I feel like that's where we kind of died before, is that there's no one's going to go because there's no penalty to not go.
It's fair.
So, really quick, Karen, do you guys mind if I run through some ideas? I've come up with a list of brainstorming ideas, and I want to be clear in this that I'm not representing anything other than an initial list. I haven't looked into which of these would meet rules and regulations of San Mateo County and ordinances or lack thereof. I haven't thought about liability. I haven't thought about any features other than an initial list prior to filtering. Do you guys mind if I just run you through that really fast?
Please
go ahead.
do.
Okay, so one idea could potentially be volunteer supervised play hours, where there's a specific time in an area and there are community volunteers who are present during that time to supervise play hours at that location. There's obviously dog park development, which we already went over. There is a thought of additional signage and wayfinding, potentially at one location directing that off-leash activity is allowed during certain hours at a different location. I do not think the town has this in their budget, but there is the potential for leash dispenser stations. Again, just brainstorming. Again, I don't think that's necessarily viable, but I'm just trying to brainstorm here. Everything could potentially come up with. We could specifically designate on leash zones more and focus on specific areas where we do believe are higher risk to try to designate a higher level of care and enforcement, just so that everyone's very clear that those areas are have heavily, fairly dense, and off-leash activity or play activity, which I believe are separate activities, are not really allowed without on-leash rules and regulations. There's the potential of a permit or a registration system to register dogs for off-leash access. Again, that could be coupled with specific times or designated areas. There's potential for community workshops or events, coupling it with a outreach program, potentially adoption, or a youth engagement program. There is the potential for a QR code kind of feedback system where you could gain more feedback from the community, or potentially some kind of link to feedback. So we could generate more knowledge on how the community feels about this.
Which we've already done, Robert. I don't know, about 6 months before you came, we did a survey, and that's what Karen was referencing. We do have some data on that. And the bottom line is the people who responded to the survey, which I know can be a very limited group of people, were extremely in favor of a dog park. Albeit with a lot of caveat, but yeah, the town wants one, the town needs one. Just can't find space.
Thank you, Patty.
No, those are great ideas. I didn't mean to shut you down, Robert. Were you done?
No, you didn't. I thought that was great information. Thank you for reiterating that that is, again, the most popular option. I'm done. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well,
Any
I
other?
would share one more thing really quickly, which is that unfortunately, I think this was iterated before, but I just want to iterate it again. This is really a issue of it's not really a choice. We can't have this happen because it's against regulations that are already in place. It's just how can we go above and beyond to try to help out, because I think it's something that's not really a choice from a liability perspective and a town perspective and community perspective, unfortunately. So I've tried to the best I can to provide more flexibility that we don't have right now. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, we don't have financially. I mean, I'm sure the town has insurance, but the last thing the town would need right now is a lawsuit brought about by someone who's bit by a dog off leash at the town center. Although I don't know, does anybody know if the liability goes to the owner or the town?
I'm no attorney on that, but there is a sign on the library lawn that says dogs, it doesn't say, it says dogs on leash. That's all it says, and it's kind of hidden behind some bushes now that are overgrown. It's over by the creek area. It's a little, it's our little brown sign. It's like the one on the soccer field that's tiny,
Portola Valley
And it-
type sound.
Yeah, and it says dogs on leash. So that's not necessarily, I think Robert's point about better signage and additional signage could be helpful.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, if we, the town, don't actually take enforcement action, then if something happens, we will be named in the lawsuit, period. And whether we lose or win or how much we have to pay, that's just the way those lawsuits work.
Yeah. And to additional signage, I mean, could it hurt? No. I know Justin in Public Works has put up big kind of the sandwich board signs up on the soccer field, like one every 50 feet saying, no dogs, no dogs, no dogs. And you go up there all during the day and there's 47 dogs up there. So people in Portola Valley, not necessarily unique to us, can feel entitled to take their dogs wherever they feel like they want to take them. So, okay, well, this is a good list. Like I say, we've spent a lot of time on this, but I will connect with Mark in the next day or so and we'll just brainstorm on this. I appreciate your ideas, and we'll see where it goes from there. Okay. All right, moving on to the agenda. First item on the agenda is Zots Town Picnic. So let's go in order of occurrence. Let's start with Zots. And Karen, do you want to talk about the starting line?
Just the starting line? Hello? Can you hear me? Just the
okay,
starting line?
Well, sure. I mean, yeah, the whole lead up registration.
Okay, I put something together. Let me just share my screen. Let's see. That is not it. Okay, let's just do this. Okay. Okay, excuse me, my dog wants to come in now. Sorry.
While we're waiting here, Patty and committee members, would you like me to stay on the line?
It depends. Do we need Robert for the bathrooms? Should we do the bathrooms now?
Why don't we do the bathrooms first?
Okay. Would you mind staying on line for the bathrooms?
Oh, of course. Thank you for thank you.
No, I appreciate you bringing that to our attention. Okay, let's jump to the bathrooms. And Karen, you put something together for that?
I did not put
Oh,
anything together
slacking
because we
off.
had the
Slacking
stuff
off.
from no, because we had one last month. So and I didn't know, Dave, do you wanna
Only giving
take
you a
this?
hard time. Hard time.
Do you wanna take this, or we can just sort of run down where we're at with that? I mean, I can put up the visual of the joint, you know, two ADAs, the model that we have, and we can talk about that.
I'll give it a shot, and you can jump in. You and Robert can jump in when I go off track. So Karen and I did a bit of research on prefab or pre-planned combo bathroom and concession areas. We have an example of one that we generally like, which is still much larger than the existing snack shack. Karen and Robert and I had a great meeting last Monday or Tuesday down at Ford Field. We're all generally in agreement that the spot where the snack shack is the right spot. We are interested in crafting an argument for a variance to put in this combo, whatever this combo structure needs to be. There was a couple action items from that meeting, which Karen, hopefully you can speak to after. One of them was talking to West Bay Sanitary about the sewer. I got a nice letter back from them about the costs involved, and looks like we may actually have to break down and start hiring architects and civil engineers to get site plans and things like that if we really want to continue on with them. We also yeah, I would cede to the action items from that meeting if you have those, Karen. Actually, I can
Sure.
probably pull them up.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just give a quick recap. I'm just going to read down. First of all, Robert checked into the grant, and it's about $180,000. And the timeline is things need to be done by 2028. And Robert, can you clarify, did we need to actually have certain things done in 2027, like invoices submitted? I wasn't quite clear on that.
Yeah, so we need to be closed out by 2028, including invoices.
Okay.
So that
So
means we're
that's-
really targeting 2027. Thank you.
Yeah, that's our timeline for that. And we, as Dave said, Dave and I need to meet with a couple planning commissioners to go over the variance. Robert was very astute in that there is a water fountain there, which led us to believe that there might actually be sewer there, but I think Dave has found out that West Bay doesn't think there is. He thinks, right? I mean, it
Yeah,
wasn't
they just
a,
think it just drains to a nothing, because it's
Right.
just water.
right. Robert also told us that the planning staff tried, but has been unable to locate any history on the existing snack shack. So it's not like we have something to go on or plans, but he was gonna, close the loop on that one in terms of if there's anything that we can find. And he's gonna get some information on what we're currently paying for the paying, and also any staff time associated with the 3 porta potties that are there right now, as well as what it would take to service the 2 ADA bathrooms. And what's this process that we might need to go through because we're a government entity? Do we need to get bids? How would it go about? So we're still in the learning process of that. And then Dave and I will take on the discussions regarding donations. But we also need to have a better estimate of what it would cost. And so we have more information on that, and I'll share what I have on this. Oops,
A nice.
have I lost? Nope, I gotta get out of this. I opened up this email. I don't know if you guys can see this picture.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, so this is the idea, which is there's 2 ADA bathrooms with sinks. And then on the other side is the concession stand. And this one is 17 by essentially 20, 19.8. And then in the center would be a storage room. We'd put a door here so that you can't, this is accessed by Portola Valley staff or the maintenance staff where there can be supplies and such. So that's the thought process that we had. And one of the revelations I had after our meeting regarding the variance to the 75-foot setback. Oh, let me just continue. So we got the cost on this, and it's the estimate was $227,000 from CTX for all the prefab, and then obviously we would have all the costs of the hookup if we have to create an ADA path. We have to put in a concrete base and such like that. So that's sort of the update on that. And
Does that include the sewer hookup that,
no, the 227,000 is the cost of the prefab, the delivery and them installing it, but we would be responsible for getting the hookups in place for them.
okay.
So that's what we still need more information about what that would be. And David has some information on that. The other thing though, that I realized when we were thinking about the variances, is with the new housing element rezoning, Ford Field, this property it has a unique zoning to it. And I don't know if that will help or not, but when we talk to the planning commission, the fact that there would be no other properties within this designation might be helpful, if that makes sense, because it's sort of a one-off versus it being something that, if you make an exception somewhere or create a variance, do you have to do it elsewhere? And my thought was, let's talk to the planning commissioners, because maybe the fact that it's got its own zoning code right now could help. So, and then the other things that we were thinking about in terms of good arguments for the variance, and and Robert was really helpful in this, is things like it's about upgrading the existing infrastructure. The fact that we would be putting in ADA bathrooms, and even if it's not required, it would certainly be of tremendous benefit, and improve sight lines and aesthetics versus having that existing snack shack and the 3 porta potties and the garbage cans. So that's sort of where we're at with that. I don't know if anyone has any questions or any thoughts, or David, do you want to add anything? Dave Bailey?
Yep, that's good.
Okay.
May I?
Yeah.
A little bit here. So I was actually typing up an email earlier today. Didn't really finishing it now. David and Karen, this is perfect. This letter is perfect. This is exactly what we're looking for from West Bay Sanitary. So at this point, we've confirmed that there really is no sewer currently there.
We did not. They just don't think they're. I don't think they did any look. They just, I think specifically say there's most likely.
Yes, there's most likely, but the fact that they're talking about annexing it into the district means that that property does not exist in their system, which is probably a 98 to 99% chance that it is not currently being served by sewer. The fact they were mentioning annexing it into the West Bay Sanitary District sewer facilities means it's not in their system as an address.
Or is that just because I asked them to annex it? And they didn't.
Oh, interesting. Okay. That's a
Because I
follow-up
didn't-
question we should ask them.
Yeah.
Good point. That's a very good question.
Sorry, I might have messed up there.
No, it's very good. This is a very good answer we have here. We've got an approximate cost they're quoting. I've got a few follow-up questions, so we're making good progress on that. And I just want to compliment and thank David and Karen for their work on that. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, great, thank you.
You know,
had
there was one other comment that I was reminded of in that letter from West Bay, is they talked about the removal of the existing septic. And for the life of me, I can't really figure that one out. So.
Because it's a form letter.
Okay. All right.
That's I'm 90 to quote Robert's number. I'm 98% sure it's because it's a form letter,
Okay.
right?
I just had a couple questions. Are we sure that the trash cans would go away? I mean,
No, they would not.
yeah, I didn't see anything in that drawing that would replace the trash cans.
No, it's a good point, Patty. They would not.
So the trash cans don't go.
Although there could be bigger trash cans. You know, I mean, we could look at that. We're focused on the bathrooms.
I understand, but if
Yeah.
you're gonna make a point that the aesthetics are better and you sped because the trash cans are there, then we just need to, tighten up the
Yeah,
point.
sure.
Certainly the snack shack looks a lot better. So I'm not,
Well, and the porta potties going away.
Yeah, it's the porta potties.
the porta
Yeah.
potties would help. And I'm assuming we would, well, I won't go there. What about just one bathroom versus two? Is there a option? Do we think there's 2 bathrooms needed? If it's a nicer facility, is it one? I mean, is that an option? That's just a question.
Yeah.
Don't need to answer it now. Unless you think it's a stupid idea.
No, you could argue either way on that.
Yeah. And I'm assuming the maintenance costs would be reflective of the facts that they would probably be locked when Little League is not happening. So does that mean you'd still need a porta potty there? Because, I mean, it is kind of I don't know. That's a question. We do all agree that it gets a lot of use today, which would go away. So what's gonna happen then? I know, I agree.
Well,
I'm shrugging my shoulders too, but
I think we need to look at the cost of them remaining open. And also because the Alpine Trail is a hiking path. But we can also look at locking them when it's off season too.
I don't
We
know,
just
it's a
need-
question, again,
Yeah,
don't have to answer now. And it seems like
Well,
we're doing sorry, go ahead.
but I think that's gonna be an important question, so I'm not sure how we resolve that
I agree.
going forward.
I'm gonna put it on the list, so.
Okay.
It seems like we're doing all the heavy lifting right now. Maybe that's appropriate. At what point do we get Little League involved?
Pretty soon, well. It's a good question too. Well, certainly when we start getting real and be like, hey, by the way, we need $1.5 million to make our budget work. I'm making up a number just
No,
when we're like, hey, we need X to make this happen. Do you guys think we can do this? Like, you guys need to start a fundraising committee or whatever has to happen for that, or your fundraising committee has to start pointing people to our GoFundMe site or whatever we do. So I think pretty soon is probably like within a couple months once we decide what we're doing.
okay. And have you defined, I mean, I guess the next steps you've already defined that you've talked about in here. Just some going to the planning commission, probably sounds like it's the biggest one. Not going,
yeah,
not going to the planning commission.
right. Talking with a couple of the
Talking with the
commissioners.
planning commissioner, yes.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah. Okay. All right, David Cardinal, did you have comment, questions?
Always. Yeah, first, I think if it's not for the entire community, it's not going to happen. So if it's just for Little League and you're locking it up, I don't see any way that's going to get support. At least not for a variance. If you put it over by the first baseline or somewhere else, because it's just kind of, it's kind of rude, frankly. So I think it has to be, and whatever the cost is, and maybe it doesn't have to be open at night. I think they have to be open, or no, they're not going to make bathrooms for the Little League in a variance. Second, I think aesthetics are really key. So photos, I mean, the current garbage cans, porta potties, snack shack is pretty, ugly. So photos of that, and maybe even photos that show the new building in some better color than concrete. Whatever you can do there, I think is helpful. And the point about the garbage cans, I think is interesting. If you can show that we just put, I don't know, a little dumpster next to the bathrooms instead of all the overflowing garbage cans, I think that would be good. And on the sewer, if you're going to pay for the hookup, I guess, 2 bathrooms, why not? I mean, it's a lot of the hookups probably as expensive as anything. So those are my thoughts from hearing all this. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, other comments?
I have a random comment. If we like put in a dumpster that was bigger but yet kind of smaller there, do you think we could lock it so that it doesn't get like inappropriately used and have it
Oh.
only open during Little League games?
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that
I mean,
something
you
we
can hide a
can
dumpster.
be
behind them.
not to I think you're right about the rudeness of locking the bathrooms, but can we be rude about the trash cans? At least.
Yeah.
You definitely can. The not that it matters for this proposal, but then people will put stuff on top and on the side, but
Yeah.
if they do anyway, I mean, that's kind of life in the big city, I suppose.
I would advise a degree of caution there on how you handle that one. If there is a small trellis structure or shed type structure with large double doors that allows for storage of trash bins which belong to Little League, and are dedicated to Little League, the town could allow Little League to store their trash cans in an enclosed trellis type structure that could be locked up. I would generally advise some caution with visible trash cans that are not accessible. People will often walk over to a trash can with trash quite a distance away. And if it is locked, sometimes in the past I've had experience where people will toss trash there, like David Cardinal mentioned.
Do we know if they're Little League's trash cans or the town's trash cans?
I'm not aware of that. I haven't looked into that specifically.
I believe
I
they're
don't think we
town.
usually-
I believe they're the town, not Little League.
I need to see if the town normally services trash receptacles at other locations and their other parking lots.
Okay. Have to check that, I guess.
Would Green Waste know if I called them?
No, that's something I need to look into and talk to with Scott primarily.
Hey, let's just be happy we're getting trash service. Let's not piss them off any more than we have to. We like trash service. Okay. Karen, David, great work. Robert, appreciate it. I guess we'll just keep it moving. Be nice to be able to move the needle on this. So, okay, else? All right, Robert, you are free.
Thank you all.
Thank-
Have a great night.
Thank
If you need anything
you.
else, send me an email. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Okay, let's go back to Zots.
Okay. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Oh, now this is hang on. This is in my way. Huh. Okay. Can you guys see that?
Yep,
Yes.
that's good.
All right. So obviously, we know that the Zots to Tots is the 20th at 10 a.m., the 20th of September. And the goal here is to see if we can simplify, cut costs, and of course, have fun. Now,
Is that in order?
not necessarily,
Reverse.
but there we go. Okay, so, I don't know if I specifically talked about the starting line, because the first thing I started with was registration, and I have initiated communication with Elizabeth on staff at the town, and she is checking into how it was done last year. When I looked up the way classes are registered for, they let you register online, but if you use a credit card, you pay an extra fee, and they're still accepting checks. So you can register and then bring a check. We obviously don't want to do that. But this was essentially what we had last year. And this was that special logo for the 60th anniversary. But so again, this is what was on the page. These links to registration don't work. So Elizabeth is checking on all of that. And we need to set up a system for race day registration as well. Because John did the soccer and baseball registrations. He had a separate account that was set up for it. So we're still working on that. We'll do the usual promotion. We have to notify the businesses about the road closures and then work with Ed Holland and BPTS on all those road closures and route volunteers. And then the starting line, I'm not sure, Patty, exactly what you wanted me to say about it, but we set up cones, and I would love to have a volunteer for a race starter. I don't know if we have anybody on there to sort of help with the start of the race and the setup. We put a line across the road there, and then we coordinate with Patty and her husband Bill to make sure that the clocks are synchronized. So when people come in, they can check their race times. I don't know, Patty, is there anything else you want to say about that?
Well, we do have same day registrations. So in the past, there's been a small group of volunteers, usually Mike and Bao Cheng and Beth Myers, who have signed up same day people who just show up and want to give us cash or write a check.
Well,
So,
or they did Venmo. So that was where John had those accounts. So yeah, we've got to figure that out.
yeah, so same day registration, and then starting line, and then we also have to figure out the promotions that we're giving away, whether they're going to be done at the starting line or the finish line.
Yeah. Okay. So let me go into this. So the
Oh,
race
sorry.
day,
Okay.
yes, set up and start. John said that he's used 4 volunteers for registration, and to set up the starting line. And I was hoping that we could get if you guys have any ideas for a starter, a race starter who would, sound off the bullhorn and, there's like I don't know what it is, a foghorn, and sort of be in charge of registration, that'd be great. We can set up the tables the day before, and one of the things I'm considering is if it would make sense to actually have early pick up the evening before to get their bibs and their swag. And then there, as I mentioned, they'd be cones to sort out the bikers from the runners. And then there's in John's notes, there's 5 volunteers needed for race routes for directions, and he'd written and water, but I don't
We don't do
I
that
don't think we're
anymore.
giving water.
We don't.
Okay.
Well, we don't. The volunteers along the race route are the ones that are monitoring the road closures. We don't
Okay.
have any other volunteers to give directions.
Oh, are you sure about that? Because 5 is not enough for all the road closures.
I think that this was John. I think this might have been, this was just in his notes, and I don't know if we ever gave out water, and I think this was not for the road closures, it was for helping people make sure they went the right way. So we can
Yeah.
double check on that, but then make sure that Ed gets a lot more than 5 for the
Yeah, so
road
2
closures.
things. Yeah, it's not enough. And Ed typically gets I think we have like 19 intersections that are closed, but we've never had 19 people, but it's been like a dozen. And then we used to give out water at the finish line. And Bill has done it in the past. He just went to Costco and bought a bunch and just put it out on our table. So we don't have anybody that it's just there.
Yeah, and I don't even know if depends on the costs, if we should even do that,
Well,
but,
Bill has just paid for it.
oh, okay. Okay, and just to go over this is where we get into the swag and awards. So there's 10 total categories, male and female. For the run, there's an 18+ category, a teen category, and a 12U category. And then for the bike, it's teen and 12U. And last year we spent $1,400 on trophies and the participation medals. Every runner got a medal. And I think one of the things I wanted to hear from you guys is what should we do about participation medals? And one thought I have, and these are all just thoughts, and I'm hoping other people come up with ideas and brainstorm, is we could just give out an award ribbon. So that's just something to consider. It's significantly less expensive, and we can put our logo on it or whatever we want to say. So I'm throwing that out as an idea versus the medals. And I'd be interested in people's thoughts on if I know that we want to give out awards for the winners of the categories, but what do people think about the medals? And this is different than the swag, like a cap or something like that.
Well, I'd even question whether we need to give out trophies. I mean, I'm all in favor of capturing winners. And as someone said last time, putting their picture in the paper, but I don't know if we need trophies. And on the ribbons, I seriously think you need something that goes around the neck. Otherwise, they're just all going to end up in the trash. Those are my thoughts.
Do you think we need something for participating in the race?
I think you do for kids. I don't know about adults. The kids, Bill said the kids really kind of get into it.
Okay.
We should have
Can you think of other things that go around the neck that
Well, they have ribbons that you
might
can
be,
just put around the neck. Don't have to be like medals. T
okay,
with
I'll look into that. David, were you going to say something?
We should have trophies.
should or shouldn't.
Yes on trophies.
Why?
Okay,
As the parent of someone who's competing for them, they were important.
How about teen and below?
What?
Trophies, teen and below only.
Okay, that's okay.
Well,
So we're gonna
I-
save on 2 trophies then.
I think
I'll
that
take
the
it.
bulk, let me take a look at this, but I think the bulk of that $1,400 is the medals. Because there's 400 medals that were ordered.
Okay,
It's not the,
I'm just,
it's not
you
the
asked for
10
ideas.
trophies.
I'm giving you ideas.
No, I know, but just to kind of, yeah, I'd have to go look at that closer. Okay. Well, anyway, that's one of the things to consider in terms of how we save money. Okay, so for promo giveaways or swag, we spent $6,700 on for 250 hats and 150 visors.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Was that a real sneeze or was that a reaction to what we
That was a
spent?
real sneeze. Getting ready for the race.
So, yeah. So one of the things is if we did visors only, we could, something like this, we could bring the cost down to say $2,500 to $3,000. Or there's a drawstring sports pack, which for 400 would be less expensive. And I don't know if the kids would use those. So these are just some ideas that I wanted to throw out. And maybe there's visors for the adults and the sports pack for the kids. And I'm interested in if anybody has any other low cost ideas and also ideas for what you think would be good for the imprint message or logo, if there's any thoughts on that.
I think people have enough hats / visors. So personally, I, again, would kind of focus on the kids. I think the backpack, the drawstring back is a great idea. I see kids with them all the time. And I think it'd be kind of a fun, different idea. And I mean, I would probably focus on the kids, but, you know, um, probably order extra if adults wanted them and not turn them down. Um,
Well, okay. One of the other things I was thinking, it doesn't really matter what it is if we come up with a logo that's more generic, like if the award, the awards or the participation medals say Zots to Tots, but this, whether it's a visor or this backpack is more generic about Portola Valley, it could get used as awards for trivia night too,
yeah,
for game
that's
night.
very true.
So
Yeah.
anyway, but that's an aside to the
Certainly an
whole thing.
opportunity. Yeah.
And that's actually all I have on that. So it's really about, but this is the stuff that needs to get done. I mean, there's organization that has to get done in advance and clearly the registration, and we're dependent on the staff on that. So, we're in a waiting mode, but we'll figure stuff out.
David, Bailey, do you have thoughts about the swag?
No. Not really.
I know John thought it would be fun, whether it was a t-shirt or the hat, if people have them all on at the start of the race, right? So that you see people with that on, which is, but we're not going to do t-shirts because that's more expensive, but, and more, complex, shall we say. I don't know. This is where we're at.
I think those are all great ideas and thoughts. Sounds like we're going on the right things. David Cardinal, do you have a comment?
Yeah, a couple of thoughts. First of all, on the starter, it's semi-traditional to find in big races kind of a celebrity, quote unquote. I think we could get Judith Haskell, our mayor, or I don't know, any number of people that, if you think that would help, um, would be happy to be the celebrity starter, even if they weren't the people who managed all the registrations. So I think that'd be fun. On the swag, like I've mentioned before, it's easier for me to say because I don't have to do it, that getting some sponsorship on that would, I think a lot of businesses would love to have their name on several hundred or thousand people in Portola Valley. And on the actual swag, to me, like most of you, I have a closet full of things. And I tend to wear ones that are kind of like, oh, that's cool. So rather than, I don't know how you do that, but if you can make one that the kids go, I want to wear that one or that backpack or something today versus the other 7 that my parents bought me and my grandma bought me, that would be cool. It's more expensive, but that's, I don't know, that's how I pick what I wear. So those are my thoughts. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other thoughts on Zots?
The hesitancy on the t-shirts is just the hassle of the sizes.
Yeah, I think it was, well, I think it wasn't, there's the expense and the, trying to get them out with the sizes at the start of the race. John said it was just really difficult.
What if we combine it with Dave Cardinal's sponsorship idea and your pre-race pickup idea?
Well, my pre-race pickup idea, doesn't mean that everybody will pick them up, right? You're still
Oh.
gonna have a bunch of stuff at the start of the race, but you
Yeah.
can try to offload. I was like, maybe we can offload some of
Yeah.
that, so it's not so crazy. Um, we're sort of, I don't want to poo-poo the sponsorship idea. I think it's a good one. I think I'm being a realist when I think about how much we have to do and how limited our group is in terms of numbers. But we'll think about it. I think it's a good suggestion.
Maybe you and I can talk about that offline.
Could
Yeah.
we,
What was the thought? Oh, you were also gonna do the adhesive bibs, right?
Yeah, so the other thing I checked into, and it's about $100 more expensive. Well, I didn't include the cost of the safety pins. So in the past, John said that they have had bibs and then they have to get a bunch of safety pins. And then that becomes, they're just like, people are grabbing gobs of them and have to pin them. And they make race bibs that are have self-adhesive, which would simplify things a lot. So if we can save thousands of dollars on the swag and spend an extra $100 on the race bibs, it might be worth it. Just from it, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, great. Thank you very much, Karen. Really
Mhm.
appreciate it. Okay, so I've got the picnic side of it. Almost everything is on track. We do have a band. They're called Up and to the Right, not a political statement. It's Ray Rothrock's band. They kind of play light rock and roll. They played at the Palooza. I got their name from John Badger. They are willing to do it for free, so that saves us $600, which is good. I've got the band. Boy Scouts are going to do their hamburgers. Cub Scouts are going to do their games. Got the food truck, no cost to us. I've got the face painting. I've eliminated a henna painter, so gone down by $300 there. Talked to Stuart Reynolds. They've lopped off $1,000 off of their bill through both just kind of nice guy discounts and some other savings that we've identified. Party 360, I'm down about $800 from last year. I'm going to go with that. And I think that's about, so all told, I'm down about 600, 1,000, 500, almost $2,000 on the picnic side. So continue to look for opportunities there. And we really haven't given up anything so far, just kind of, trimming there and trimming here. So picnic is all go for now. Any other thoughts or questions on the picnic? Okay. All right. So obviously still a lot to do. Karen, let you and I touch base and we can see if there's more that we can do on the race and the starting line. I like David Cardinal's idea of a celebrity, although I'm thinking, Steph Curry, doesn't he live kind of close by? It's just Atherton. I think that's just right next door.
Well, Steph does live there. Roger Craig lives
Roger Craig.
just up the road.
Yes, he does. That's a
Not
true.
technically in town, but he's right here.
See, I think we should think big. I mean, no offense to Judith Haskell. Please don't let her know that I am. She's not a celebrity.
let's
But,
get the people
I
who do the
think we should-
work. We should have Patty Dews be the starter.
Sorry, I'm supporting my husband at the finish line, which I need to do for marriage harmony, and I also need to be there for the picnic. But I appreciate that, David.
We'll just drive you up Westridge.
Well,
super
the
fast.
finish line is one end, but the start is another.
We can do
Yeah.
both.
Well, yeah, there's always the checkered flag waving thing in F1 where
Yeah.
they pick some famous celebrity to wave the checkered flag. So that could be your spot.
That
I
could be
think
my
Brad
spot.
Pitt would be good.
Hey, if we get Brad Pitt, I will fund the whole goddamn picnic myself. I'm telling you this right now. Trophies and all. Trophies for everybody.
Does it have to be a
Okay.
movie star, Brad Pitt?
Well, when they mentioned F1, that's what made me
Yeah.
think of it.
Yeah, you got me off on a
Yeah.
Brad Pitt. Okay. I need to take a break right now. Okay. Anything else on Zot's Town Picnic? Okay, game night update. Obviously with Mike's announcement, we are looking for a host. So maybe we want to think about that and maybe John will come back as a honorary host. Maybe he'll be back by then.
Well, one of the things that I think we should be thinking about is trying to see if there are more interested members, new members for the committee. So if we can maybe think about other people that we know that would be good for the committee, we have time on that one, maybe to
Yeah.
figure that out.
Yeah, no.
And
I
and then the first one, I wrote the questions with John and did set up the whole slideshow and stuff. So that piece of it we could do it, it's just, we need to think about who could be a good MC and who could be a good addition to our committee.
Yeah, I agree with that. Okay. Stay tuned. Town court outstanding topics. I did get confirmation from Tony that we are approved to pay for the resurfacing out of the Fund 221. And I asked him what needed to happen next. He said that the town needs to go through some final budgeting logistics, but they are working on it. They are aware of it. And they're working on that side of it. Cindy is working on the outline. Well, I know what she sent around about what the courts would look like. She only did court number 1. I think we need to do court number 2, court number 3, so that we're able to hand the town a final drain. I did mention, I think we'll probably need to run them by the Conservation Committee, just, to be a good neighbor.
Right?
And but we've got time on that because we don't have finalization from the town on what the next steps are for their piece of it. So, but it is approved and moving forward. So, Fort Field bathrooms, already talked about. Karen Bocce Court proposal.
You know what? I'd have no further updates on that for this meeting.
I think
Especially if
you've
we're
been
putting a
busy.
dog park there.
Well, yeah, there's only so much, we're
Yeah.
all busy, so I couldn't do any of the follow-up on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't, David, I hear you. I wouldn't rule out that we couldn't accommodate both, but
Yep.
I think the bocce court can rightfully be put on the back burner for now while we work through some of these impending items. And I have nothing updated on the Rosati's and Fort Field parking. So Anything else that we need to talk about?
On town courts, so the next step is just waiting for the budget and then finalizing the color scheme with
Yes,
conservation's input, and then just handing a package with a bid
yes,
to Robert and then saying go, or
yes,
whoever Public Works is.
yes. Okay,
And are we more confident in the decision makers of color schemes?
say more.
Are we okay with work, like, we're gonna decide, like Cindy's gonna recommend, we're gonna decide, conservation's gonna say okay, and then we're done? And we're not gonna have to do like a town-wide doodle poll over the colors.
I would certainly not ask the town,
Yeah.
well, I would not support asking a Google survey town.
Yeah,
I
neither would
think
I,
it
I'm just making
would-
sure.
I think it might behoove us to pull in, like, maybe, I think Cindy could probably represent the pickleball community, but we might certainly want to ask some of the tennis players for
Yeah.
their thoughts about the tennis court lines. I think Karen weighed in on that. And then certainly ask the basketball players. I think limited input would be good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think that the getting input from Tracy Cowperthwaite, who runs the Corte Madera tennis team, would
Yeah.
be good because I just know when those lines got repainted, it was harder for the tennis players. And my only comment is they're not going to have a dedicated court at all anymore. So let's
Mhm.
just make sure that there's equity in how it's done.
who's
So-
that person?
Tracy,
Tracy Cowperthwaite is coaches the Corte Madera tennis team. And
Okay.
I think and Lauren Denenberg, I think those are the two that have done it.
Are they
Um,
contactable outside of school calendar?
oh yeah, they're volunteers.
Great, that's my
Yeah.
real question, is do we have to wait until spring comes around to get a hold of them or something?
No.
Yeah, for sure not. We actually, I teach a course in vision at Stanford. We brought a bunch of students, grad students up to measure the pickleball and the tennis lines at Alpine because it was kind of an issue. And I think the biggest issue for the tennis players is if those blue lines are too bright, which of course they tend to be when they're new. But if they've been there for a few years, they get darker and they're easy. And so it's just a trade-off, it's obviously if you're a pickleball player, bright lines are good. If you're a tennis player, the more they fade, the better. So that would be my insight, having spent some time on that.
And actually, Dave, I think when they repainted court 2, they made the pickleball lines yellow, which is what made it really hard to. Dave Bailey, you're out there. Have you seen the color of the pickleball lines on court 2?
I'm not a good person to ask about that because I'm red green colorblind, and so I'm not too worried about it.
I think they made them yellow, which is, and
Yeah.
that was when some people
I
said,
believe
wait a
that's
second,
true.
they're too bright. And so the blue
Oh.
would be great, right? I know that's what standard is, and these ones were painted, kind of bright yellow.
Oh, that's so weird. I haven't played on court 2 in a long time, but that'd be really bad.
I think they have
Yeah.
faded though, to your point.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's still harder than having the blue.
Yeah, blue, and then it gets darker. And we came up with some color options that would be better, but they don't have a paint that does it. So yeah, the not too bright blue would be a good thing. On the previous topic, by the way, the other pseudo celebrity or kind of celebrity who lives in town and taught pickleball actually at Alpine is Pat Burrell, Pat the Bat
Oh,
from the
Oh.
Giants. So my guess is if he's around, I don't know why he wouldn't be happy to be like a starter for Zastas or whatever. So he's no Steph Curry, but you know, people are still following baseball. He's back with the Giants as a hitting coach.
yeah, I'm in book club with his wife. But
Okay.
but September 20th is still baseball season, is it not? I
It
would
is
think it
still.
It
is.
is. It is. Although
Yeah.
he's a hitting coach. So if they're not actually playing that day, I don't know. It might still be fine.
Oh,
I don't know.
they're playing the Dodgers
Oh, okay.
at the Dodgers, it looks like.
Yeah. So I don't know if he
So,
travels with them for that or I don't know.
yeah.
That's a good question.
We'll find somebody. Okay,
Yep.
Yep.
thanks, everybody. I appreciate
Alright.
it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good
you.
evening.
Oh, motion to adjourn.
Seconded. All right, I
Third.
create it since you're the chairman.
Yep.
I'm so moved.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.